Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining me in the class of Straight Talk. I'm your host, Morris Merriweather, and also the author of Enough is Enough. Thank you again for coming to class. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to dispense with the calling of the roll. It appears that everyone is here that wants to be here today. And so therefore, we're going to dispense with that and get right into the class discussion. As I normally say, we begin by talking about what's going on in my hometown, because what's going on in my hometown is going on in your hometown. It's just going on with different people. Ladies and gentlemen, this week I had the opportunity of attending our school board meeting, which was held this past Thursday. Ladies and gentlemen, it was again a sad moment in that the attendance was extremely low. Ladies and gentlemen, in looking around the room and doing an assessment, I did not find but one minister that was there, and that was Reverend Baxter himself that was there with me. So the religious community is not being represented. They do not come to the school board meetings, and yet they have people in their congregation that attend both private and public schools. Ladies and gentlemen, I did not see any sororities and its fraternities in the Federation, in the 100 Black Men's, the NAACP, white organizations. No one was there, so I'm not dealing with a racial thing. The whites and the black community did not attend. I looked around and I did not observe but 2 or 3 parents, and they was of the white persuasion. Ladies and gentlemen, so where were the African American parents in a predominant black school system in my hometown? But ladies and gentlemen, there was 2 things that was of interest to me, in particular on the school board, and that was a report on the Vision 2020. And ladies and gentlemen, you remember that was a time when we was trying to improve public education in my hometown. And 2020 did not only operate in Madison County, it operated in several counties across the state. It is an organization of people who was assisting in public education, assisting the good old boys in making sure that they turn things around for their friends and their loved ones, and also that they make things better for a particular group of people and forget about others. So that is the real thrust of it, because Vision 2020 organization has no background in education. Their background is in structure and building of buildings and shifting people around. But ladies and gentlemen, Vision 2020 in my hometown, and if they have not come to your hometown, they are going. It is a spread of a bad thing for public education. But ladies and gentlemen, it was projected in my hometown that there will be a saving of $4 million. According to the information that came in this past Thursday, it was $1.2 million. Ladies and gentlemen, if you had someone who told you that they could project that you would have a saving of $4 million, and you found out less than a year later that you would have a saving of $1.2 million, would you trust that firm again? Would you believe that they was reputable? Ladies and gentlemen, these are the people that we paid to give us a bunch of lies, and it did not pan out. So that was one thing that came up. Ladies and gentlemen, also there was some things that was included for certain people and not for other people. It was also discussed, and this is what I can't understand, and this is going on in your hometown as well. Ladies and gentlemen, our enrollment have dropped a great deal. There again, we're having white flight. Again, I explained white flight is when the white students leave and go to private school and charter school and surrounding counties and leave the public school and certainly those inner city schools. But ladies and gentlemen, as a part of 2020, and they knew this is why the saving didn't go up like it should and went down. They hired an additional 7 system principals. Now, Reverend Baxter and I have been attending the schools, and we came to you before and told you that the majority of the administrators who are being hired are not African American, they are whites. And we brought you those statistics. You can go back and look at previous videos and see that. We have one ISS monitor. That is when a student is suspended from the classroom and not from the school, and they go to ISS, which is a room where they have a monitor that is supposed to continue the education of that particular student. Keep in mind that the system is 65% African American, and the monitor for African Americans are, again, a white gentleman. They have 7 regular ed assistants in the classroom. But ladies and gentlemen, my question to you who are at home and not paying attention, how is it that the enrollment of students have dropped prior to Vision 2020, but yet we are continuing to hire additional staff, additional principals, when the enrollment is not there? No one asks those questions, and certainly you're staying at home, and the organization that you belong to are not asking those questions. Ladies and gentlemen, I looked around. I did not see any black elected officials. I did not see any white elected officials. I did not see mayors and county commissioners. No official that was elected was even there. It appears to me that, ladies and gentlemen, once these people are elected, and that is why that Donald Trump was able to do what he was able to do, and that is become our next 45th president, because people are fed up. And across this nation, people are fed up, but I can't understand why people are not fed up with what's going on in public education. We're talking about the lives of our future generation. But ladies and gentlemen, here's another thing I want to throw out there, and this is happening in your hometown as well. I don't understand how is it that a superintendent who retires and they go and join a firm that is doing business with the school department. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that if I was superintendent and things flourished under me and I was able to make sure that this particular firm is getting all of the business in Madison County, then I retire and then I go to work for that firm. It's called inside trading. I can give them inside information. This is how it goes. This is what you need to do. This is how you can do it. And ladies and gentlemen, not one person in Madison County has asked the question, why is it that a former superintendent of the school system is now working for your firm and we just approved a contract with you? Ladies and gentlemen, all kind of stuff is going on. And not only is it going on in my hometown, it's going on in your hometown as well. Ladies and gentlemen, listen, we are in the process, or they are in the process, because the community is not in the process. Elected officials and the religious community and organization are not in the business. We got 9 members on the board, and they are being talked to by the good old boy system, and they're looking for a superintendent. What was so ironic, ladies and gentlemen, was that one of the board members asked about a particular African-American former principal about him being interviewed by the board on a particular Saturday. It was not on the agenda, and I do not understand why the things that are not on the agenda, how it was able to be voted on. But these guys actually voted 4-4, and so it was a tie, so the gentleman was not able to be hired. Ladies and gentlemen, all kind of stuff is going to go on because they're trying to get a particular superintendent that they would be able to use for the benefit of certain students and for the community, and to make sure that their sons and their daughters are hired, because this particular superintendent we have is not hiring people of color, not in the administration position and not in a teaching position. Ladies and gentlemen, so they went on and to talk about the hiring of a superintendent. What blew my mind is that one of the school board members who, rumor has it that is planning on running for mayor next term, he made the statement that, and I want to quote, that he does not have the time to get into all of the ins and out of interviewing and collecting references and resumes on superintendent. Ladies and gentlemen, the members of the school board are paid $300 for each of the meetings. And so if you come back 5 times this week or 6 times this week, you're getting paid in addition to your job. So why would a board member make the statement that he didn't have time to do all this? So what they want to do, they want to hire the TSBA, which is a Tennessee School Board Association, to do all of the legwork and get the resumes and interview and then come up with finalists, and then the finalists will be interviewed by the board. Ladies and gentlemen, why would the school board in a local community want to give up their power or their ability to hire the next superintendent, which will be good for our community? And we have someone that's in Nashville interviewing for someone for our students. With all of the smart, so-called smart people in our community, why is it that no one has asked the question that we are paying you to represent us. We voted for you. And we want you to interview and select the superintendent that's best for our children. We don't want someone in Nashville interviewing and tell us, these are the people that I want you to select from. Ladies and gentlemen, with all the educated, intelligent people that we have, why is this happening? It's not only happening. I made phone calls and I talked with other people in other districts. They're doing the same thing there when it comes to public education. But ladies and gentlemen, I can assure you that private schools are not hiring a headmaster that someone else have picked for them. Ladies and gentlemen, what has really happened to public education? Why you sit by idly and let all of this crap go on. But ladies and gentlemen, I won't belay the hour, but I wanted to bring you that because I really don't understand it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a brief break, and I want to come back to you. And we want to talk about what recently happened with the election. So if you allow me to detour a little bit from public education, but in the end, I will try to tie this back into public education, and let's talk about what happened in the upcoming election. Stay tuned. Don't touch that dial. Pick up the phone. Call a friend and tell them that Straight Talk in Room 503 is on now, and it's online now, and it's time now to take a look at it. Thank you again. Stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, President-elect Donald Trump campaigned with his red cap on, and I just wanted to make sure that I went and put mine on as we talk about the results of the president election. Ladies and gentlemen, I would say this, that everyone was very surprised of the turnout, what happened in reference to Clinton and Donald Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, America is in trouble. And ladies and gentlemen, here's what I don't understand. We have some so-called intelligent people who have now allowed a man who has not ever even won any kind of political race, has no background in education, nothing but a businessman and a rich man at that, and I guess that's enough for certain people. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to read you this. I didn't want to say it. I wanted to read it to make sure that it came out and said what I wanted to say. Listen to this for a few moments. If you are afraid that a man who has no experience, mark the disabled, disrespect POWs, sexual assault women, and brag about it, call Mexicans rapists, threaten to jail his opponent, limited freedom of the press, want to ban entire religion with a scarlet letter, hoping to implement stop and frisk nationwide, doesn't believe in global warming is real, says he will appeal legal rights and President Obama executive order to protect the LGBT community from discrimination. And if he humiliate you as an American, offend you as a human, terrify you as a parent, you are in deep trouble. Ladies and gentlemen, this doesn't make any sense. What does educators say to the children, and we're talking about black educators as well as white educators, what do you say all across this nation in the classroom? Due to our next president, students are putting fear in the minds of immigrants. You're going to have to leave the country. You need to go back to Africa. This racial divided nation of ours is beginning to raise its ugly face. Ladies and gentlemen, kids are chanting in the classroom, build that wall, build that wall. Teachers are unable and don't really know what to say to the students. And ladies and gentlemen, this is not a black and white thing. This is a thing that this president of ours that's recently elected, he has caused fear in the minds of students. We got young people that can't sleep at night, wondering if their parents going to be deported, wondering if they going to be deported because of this man that we have allowed to become president of the United States. And you've been keeping up with it all across this country. There are being protests. Protests are going on, and that is increasing the amount of money that we're spending for extra police protection, for the guarding of buildings, for court, because protesters are being arrested and they have to appear in court. Ladies and gentlemen, we're spending mega bucks just based upon what has come out of soon to be President Trump mouth. Ladies and gentlemen, nowhere in history have we had this to occur. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pay mega bucks to protect every member of Donald Trump's family, wherever they go, to a football game, out on a date, to the Pizza Hut, wherever they go. Because of the protesting and because of what's going on now, that we will spend more money. Ladies and gentlemen, there was whites in the community that really never did give our president, who happened to be black, a fair shake. But thank God that he was ordained by God and he did an outstanding job. Nowhere in his 8-year term was there negativity, or he said things cause us to be embarrassed as a nation. But this man who we call our next president has embarrassed us even before becoming president. And ladies and gentlemen, he will continue to do that. We're concerned about who the chief of staff will be. Will it just be a man that has divided this nation even more? Ladies and gentlemen, we shall look at his cabinet and we will see the people who will turn this nation around. Ladies and gentlemen, we have got to be concerned about what's going on. But at least there are young people, the majority of the young people that we're seeing that's on the scene, they are students. They are young people who want to make things better. The old heads are sitting around complaining and going on. The young people are taken to the street and talking. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a very critical time in our nation history when this is going on. But ladies and gentlemen, I say one thing. Your life doesn't consist of circumstances, but it should consist of on your faith in Jesus Christ. Ladies and gentlemen, the day after election, yes, I was disappointed, but it will not bother my quality of life. It will not change me, whoever the president is, because my hope is built on the Lord Jesus Christ. And my God will protect me and take care of me no matter who's the president. But ladies and gentlemen, our nation is in trouble. There are some things that we really need to be concerned about. But ladies and gentlemen, when it comes down to public education, Donald Trump has already said that he is for voucher system. He is for private school. He's not going to do anything for public education. Ladies and gentlemen, we now have a president that's going to turn the clock even further back on public education. And the sad part is that parents, and certainly in the African-American community and people of color, they are not even coming out. You know, I've noticed also at the school board meeting, we have Latinos and Mexicans and Hispanics in our school system. They never come to school board meeting. But now the Hispanic and the Mexican community is fearful. for their lives. Their children are crying. Some of them are unable to sleep at night. But ladies and gentlemen, they would not come together with the African American community and fight the status quo because they felt that they was different. They was better. And ladies and gentlemen, we all are in the same boat. When Donald Trump rocked the boat to the right, we all go right. When he rocked it to the left, we all go left. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a sad time. It is time now that we wake up and really begin to look at those things that's going to be confronting us. But ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't make any sense for us to sit back when it comes to public education and do nothing. We're in big trouble in my hometown, and we're in trouble in your hometown. When will you, if not now, when will you become concerned about public education? God is listening and watching you. You won't attend meetings. You won't call in. You won't go and visit the schools. You have heard Reverend Baxter and I said many times, there still are 5 schools out of 27 schools that made excuses why we could not see what's going on in the school system. And if you are too afraid, are you too intimidated to stay at home and not ask about what's going on in the school system? At least you ought to be supporting Reverend Baxter and I. But you're too lazy to do that. But you complain about the guys that walking down the street with the pants hanging down. You complain about the shooting in our neighborhood. You complain about drugs in our neighborhood. These are students who have not fared well in public education. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for an uprising. It's time for a revolution. It's time that we do something to save our children. Or will you be as others and live your life and not do anything for no one but you and your family? Ladies and gentlemen, the clock on the wall says time for me to get out of here. But I want to leave you with this. My help comes from God's house, not from the White House. So, ladies and gentlemen, God is in control, and he will continue to be the one in control of my life. And I hope that he's in control of your life. But ladies and gentlemen, it's a very serious moment in public education. Next week, we'll come back with something maybe lighter because we won't have to talk about President, the next 45th president, unless he does something that's outrageous, and we'll be back next week to talk about it. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm Morris Merriweather, the host of Straight Talk in Room 503 and the author of Enough is Enough. Public education has spiraled out of control, and you're not doing anything to make sure that we gain control of it. You say you care about the children, but I don't see it happening. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again, and I'll see you next week. Be on time. We will call the roll next week. See you then.